Good morning, welcome friends, and we're here for another story. Today we have Loren Long's book, Otis and the Tornado. Now, I don't know if you have tornadoes where you live. Where I live now, we don't have them as much, but where I used to live, we used to live in Nebraska, and there were quite a few tornadoes, and it was quite scary. They can do a lot of damage, and you need to protect yourself. So we'll see what Otis does with this tornado. There's a picture of him. There's Otis, and right there's the tornado. So here we go for this adventure. Life was calm on the farm where the friendly little tractor named Otis lived. It was summer. The sun was shined bright and the birds chirped, and after all the work was done, Otis and his friend, the little calf, liked to play. There he is, playing with his friends. They would gather all their farm friends for a grand game of follow the leader. They would take turns being the leader as they marched along. Otis would go first, puff, puff, puffy chuff, followed by the little calf, who would bound ahead, bawling all the while. Soon the horse would trot to the lead with a neigh, neigh, as his hooves clip, clop, clipped along. Finally, the ducks would log to the front with a chorus of quack, 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 and they all followed the leader, up by the apple tree, round the barn, down the rolling hill, past Mud Pond, beyond the cornfield, across the meadow, and along the banks of Mud Creek. What a fun crowd they were. Everyone was so friendly except... So there they are. There's Otis and the calf. And then now you have the horse. And then they go with the ducks in the lead. And there they are now with, looks like the duck or the bull's in the lead. But who's not getting along? It was wrong. It was a cow, not the bull. The bull was nobody's friend. When he was not his pen, he kept by himself. Kept in a pasture all by himself. Look it. He looks big and grumpy. He looks big and grumpy. If any of the other farm animals got close, the bull would stand at the fence and snort and snarl and huff hot air. And suddenly, with a burst, he would run back and forth along the fence. Then would stop and glare at them like a statue, never moving a muscle except to flare his nostrils. The bull did not like anyone, and everyone was afraid of him. Yikes. He doesn't sound very friendly, does he? Look at them. Goodness. Major grumpy. Once Otis tried to make friends with the bull. He took him a shiny red apple from the apple tree and invited him to play. But the bull snorted and snarled and glared at Otis. Then he stomped his hooves in the dirt and charged. The bull slammed into the fences just inches away from Otis where Otis stood. From that day on, Otis stayed clear of the bull altogether. Yikes. One day the farm skies began to swirl and turn dark, and the winds blew and the rain came down, and the animals in the barn grew restless and jittery, and the skies tumbled and turned and turned and tumbled. Otis didn't mind the rain, but there was something different about the storm that he could feel deep into his pipes. Does look turbulent, doesn't it? Dark and stormy. Have you ever seen skies like that? And they just churn and almost like they're boiling in the sky. All at once the wind stopped blowing, not even a breeze, and the rain disappeared. The sky turned a strange shade of green and the farm fell completely still. The only sound Otis heard was the puff, puff, puff towards the sun, was the farmer shouting in the distance, "It's coming fast! Get down to the cellar!" And the farmer was in such a hurry they had no time for the animals. What was all the fuss about? Otis wondered. Then he turned and saw something that rattled his frame and shook his fenders. Well, they're going into what's called a cellar. It's like a little dugout in the ground that you can go down into. For some people that don't have basements, maybe they have a cellar. Sometimes that's where they would store like canning and dry goods. And it was a tornado. There's Otis, and see up here in the tornado? And look at the dark, dark sky. Oh my goodness. How scary. It was heading straight towards the farm. What would happen to all the animals locked in the barn? Otis sprung into action. He nudged the latch of the little calf's stall until the door swung open. Next, Otis freed the pig and the sheep, and the winds howled closer. He stretched and latched the horses and cows' doors at the same time. Click, clack, and the animals were free. Look, there he is, setting his friend free. And look, there's the tornado in the door. Look, he's got to hurry and get them out. Not sure where they're going to go, but he's trying to make them safe. They followed Otis out of the barn into the swirling winds, and they followed him down the rolling hill, past Mud Pond, beyond the cornfield, across the meadow, over the bank, and down towards Mud Creek. Tucked down at the lowest part of the farm, Otis, the little calf, and all of their farm friends felt safe. Otis sighed relief. Now they just had to huddle together and wait it out. That's very smart. You want to get into the lowest place you can go. And then the gully protects them from both sides. And look at that nasty tornado. Look at him go. That was smart thinking, Otis. Except, just as they squeezed close and tight, Otis heard an awful bellowing cry. The sound of a large creature in trouble. The bull. He was locked in his pen. From the safety of Mud Creek, Otis saw the tornado speeding in the terrified animal's direction. That would be so scary to see a tornado coming for you and you have nowhere to go. What is it going to do? Lightning crashed and the tornado howled and the bull screamed. And in a flash, Otis was gone. He raced towards the meadow, puffity puff puff puffity chuff, across the cornfield, past Mud Pond, up the rolling hill to the bullpen. Otis found the bull tucked under the shed, shaking in fear. You know it's got to be pretty scary if the bull's afraid. Because look at him, see him hiding? And there comes Otis to save him. Go, Otis, go! Otis tried to unlatch the gate, but it was locked, and he slammed his head into it, and the gate just shook, but it held firm. Otis rammed it again, and the gate teetered, and the bull wailed like a baby. Otis spun around, threw himself in reverse, and revved his engine and charged backwards into the gate. Crash! And the gate shattered to pieces, and Otis shook himself off and gave the bull a friendly chuff and peeled out. Yep, look at him trying to hit it, and it's not working. So there he goes. Boom. And there he's telling the bull, come on, let's go. Look at the tornado's right there. They better hurry. Otis, the little calf, the bull, and all the farm animals ducked their heads and closed their eyes. They'd never heard such a fury or felt such a rage, but they were all safely tucked down in the muddy creek's bed at the lowest part of the farm, and they stayed huddled there a long time, even after the tornado passed. Look at them all gathered together, being safe. And a tornado raging above. Otis is so smart and so kind to protect his friends. But when the work was all over, whoops, I think I missed a page. Let's see. Yes, I did. There we go. They only came out when it was calm and the sun shined bright and the birds began to chirp and they found the farm needed some repair. I'll say, goodness sakes, look what the tornado did. Blew off the barn walls and the roof. Blew down trees. Goodness sakes, what a mess. Even turned over the tractor. Or I guess a car right here. Look at that. Tornadoes are dangerous and violent. But when the work was all over and it was time to play, the farm friends discovered they had a new playmate. This one snorted and stomped his hooves in the dirt. And he flared his nostrils and huffed hot air. But instead of a snarl and a glare, he wore a happy grin and a friendly gaze as he looked at his place in line with Otis and the little calf in a grand game of Fall the Leader. The end. Look at that. Now they're all friends, even the bull. Yay! Sometimes that's what it takes when there's someone that's really grumpy and mean, that if you can show them a kindness and a friendliness, that sometimes they kind of change their heart. So it never hurts to always show a smile even if someone doesn't smile back, or give a hello and a nod even if they don't give it back. So I hope that today you have a great day and join me again for another Otis story tomorrow.